The story begins with Yuuya seeing a group of thugs bullying a beautiful girl one day. Although Yuuya is not good at fighting, he is a very kind person, so he wants to stop this group of thugs. During the process, he is injured. The thugs then flee, and the police fail to catch them. But Yuuya doesn't feel sad because he's used to such a life. Yuuya has been bullied since childhood because of his obesity. Even Yuuya's parents do not love him, and they only care about his younger brother and sister. In this world, only Yuuya's grandfather feels bad for Yuuya, and when he died, he left all his inheritance to Yuuya. After that, Yuuya's parents stopped taking care of Yuuya. Yuuya graduates from junior high school this year, but his classmates who have been humiliating him will enter the same high school as him. He feels so desperate, and he doesn't want to see his face anymore, so he smashes the mirror. At this moment, he unexpectedly finds that there is a hidden door next to the mirror. After Yuuya enters this door, he comes to another world. It turns out Yuuya's grandfather was once an adventurer in another world. At this moment, he sees a system similar to the game menu. The system informs Yuuya that he has inherited his grandfather's legacy and become the new owner of a house. At this time, Yuuya notices that he is at level 1, and his various attributes are also 1. Besides, there are many powerful weapons in this house. After Yuuya picks them up, the weapons automatically sign a contract with Yuuya, and Yuuya instantly gets to know how to and he can quickly master any martial arts afterward. At this time, there is a terrifying high-level monster outside the house, but it can't enter Yuuya's yard because of the special barrier nearby. So Yuuya attacks the monster with a spear in the yard, killing it in an instant. More surprisingly, Yuuya's level has been raised to 100 with the experience of killing the monster, and the materials and money dropped by the monster can be exchanged for the money used on Earth. At night, Yuuya's body undergoes strange changes due to the increase in level. The next day, when Yuuya wakes up, he is turned into a handsome man with a strong body. But Yuuya's mirror is shattered, so he doesn't know he becomes handsome. After that, Yuuya begins to live in another world. In his yard, there are many amazing vegetables. Some of them can cure all diseases, some can make people smarter, and some can make people stronger. Yuuya will also encounter some monsters in this world, and after defeating these monsters, he has obtained very powerful weapons and a large amount of money. During this time, Yuuya raises his level to level 150. His attributes are already thousands of times that of normal people. And he is as powerful as a superhero. Now Yuuya has been able to defeat stronger monsters, but it has also become more difficult for him to level up. After that, Yuuya has to leave this world temporarily because he needs to go to high school. In high school, no one recognizes Yuuya, including those who have humiliated him. No one can imagine that Yuuya will now become a handsome guy. Only then does Yuuya discover that his appearance has changed and his new life has just begun. The next day, a girl from a rich family comes to Yuuya's school. She suddenly finds Yuuya and asks him to attend the elite Yuuya Academy. It turns out that this girl is the beautiful girl who was harassed by thugs before. Her name is Kaori, and her father is the headmaster of the Yuuya Academy. Although Yuuya's appearance has changed a lot, Kaori recognizes Yuuya instantly and wants to repay him. Hearing Kaori's words, Yuuya's younger brother and sister claim to be better than Yuuya, hoping that Kaori will choose them to enter the Yuuya Academy instead of Yuuya. Kaori angrily declines their request and then invites Yuuya to visit the Yuuya Academy, where the best students of the surrounding city as well as the richest students study. Normally, Yuuya can't have the opportunity to attend such a school, but Yuuya's kindness gives him the opportunity to enter the Yuuya Academy. When Kaori's father sees Yuuya, he thanks Yuuya and then invites Yuuya to enroll. Yuuya thinks his grades are not good enough, but Kaori's father believes that Yuuya's good character is more important than his grades. He then proposes that Yuuya visit the Yuuya Academy for a day first, and then he can decide whether or not to enroll. After that, Kaori's father finds a beautiful teacher to lead Yuuya on a tour. At first, Yuuya feels a little nervous because he is afraid of being humiliated and despised by other students. But instead of despising Yuuya, the students of the Yuuya Academy think he is handsome and are very kind to him. Besides, the students are very active in class and the classroom atmosphere is great. This is completely different from the school that Yuuya used to attend. After class, the students chat with Yuuya very enthusiastically and invite him to the cafeteria. The cafeteria of the Yuuya Academy is quite luxurious, but the food is not expensive, which surprises Yuuya very much. The students here love anime and games. Similar to Yuuya's hobbies, Yuuya can definitely make a lot of friends. Besides, there are many clubs in the Yuuya Academy, even a game club specializing in games, which is rare in other schools. All of this can prove that the Yuuya Academy is a good school with freedom and tolerance. So after the visit, when the headmaster asks Yuuya's opinion, Yuuya decisively says that he is willing to study at this school. He decides to study hard and get better grades here. Knowing that Yuuya is enrolled, Kaori is also very happy. After school, she invites Yuuya to go shopping with her. Before that, no students dare to go shopping with Kaori because they are afraid of Kaori's father. But Yuuya is willing to accompany Kaori. They buy dessert together at the restaurant due to the different tastes of the desserts they bought. Yuuya and Kaori taste each other's desserts in other people's eyes. They are like a couple. At this time, Yuuya asks Kaori how she recognized him. Kaori tells Yuuya that although his appearance has changed a lot, she still sees the gentleness in his eyes. It is clear that Kaori is already in love with Yuuya. At night, after Yuuya returns home, he enters another world again. In the future, he will study at the Yuuya Academy, and he may not be able to spend a lot of time in another world, so he decides to raise his level first. Now Yuuya is level 235, and it is hard for him to level up with the experience he gains by defeating the nearby monsters. So Yuuya tries to enter the nearby forest in search of stronger monsters. Just then, he hears screams. After Yuuya enters the forest, he discovers a group of human soldiers killed by a high-level monster, the General Goblin. Only one beautiful girl survives. Yuuya immediately fights the General Goblin and successfully defeats him, but then a stronger General Goblin appears. Yuuya is no match for the Goblin in force, but he is able to fight using several weapons, by which he defeats another General Goblin, successfully saving the surviving beautiful girl. At this time, a group of soldiers comes to support. Yuuya is very alert and hides in advance. Later, he hears they call the surviving beautiful girl the princess. Back at his house, Yuuya thinks about the encounter, wondering if the girl was okay. But since there were knights that appeared to help her, he thinks she should be okay. Looking at his shirt, he thinks that he should try buying some new clothes since he has made some money from the other world. We see a mall, and as Yuuya walks around, people stare at him, thinking he must be some kind of actor or model. His shirt is enchanted to stay clean, but he thinks he should buy some other clothes, so he doesn't always look the same. Meanwhile, we see a director yelling at another man. The man is the manager for a model named Sho, but Sho hasn't turned up for their shoot. The manager gets a call from Sho and learns he is on his way. But the director gets mad because Sho isn't respecting the time of everyone there who are all ready for the shoot. Especially Miyu, their other model who has been waiting all morning. The theme of the photo shoot is focused around being a couple, so it's impossible to shoot it without him. The director thinks about what they should do, and since everyone is waiting around to start, he decides to look for a replacement within the mall. As Yuuya shops around, he is overwhelmed by the number of choices. He is approached by some girls, and he worries it's a sales tactic. They ask to know more about him and even offer to help him shop. He doesn't want them to feel bad, so he turns them down as politely as possible. The girls are left stunned and they start freaking out over him, but Yuuya wonders if he dealt with them in the right way. The director struggles to find a replacement, but tells his assistant they can't give up. They pass by Yuuya and the director instantly thinks he is the one. Yuuya gets approached and the director explains their situation to him. Yuuya is nervous to do it, but he thinks about all the people who are counting on him and he ends up agreeing to be their model. He acts as the boyfriend for their shoot, taking photos in a range of different outfits and positions. The director tells him to look sexier, but Yuuya struggles with the direction, but Miyu tells him he is doing well for his first time and Yuuya is captured by her looks. She thanks him for saving them, but Yuuya notices her getting closer to him. The director notes that Yuuya is looking kind of stiff. They move to their next location and Yuuya is impressed at Miyu for being such a pro even though they are around the same age, so he is determined to give it his best. But Miyu grabs onto him for the next shot and he panics as she pushes up against him. The director tells her to get even closer, so she puts her arms around him and pushes up even closer, which makes Yuuya even more embarrassed, and a crowd starts to watch them. Meanwhile, in the other world, we see Princess Lexia as she thinks about how she was saved. She decides to head out, and her knight wonders where she is going. She says she is heading back to the dark forest to find the person who saved her, but her knight says it's impossible for someone to be living out in that forest. But Lexia insists she was saved by someone and must thank the person who saved her. Her knight warns her of the dangers of going back, but she tells them they are all going to join her this time, and they wonder who she inherited such reckless behavior from. Back at the mall, the shoot is over and Yuuya is exhausted. Miyu thanks him once again, and Yuuya suddenly chokes on his drink. Miyu offers him her handkerchief, but Yuuya worries because he is sweaty, but he can't use his sleeve either because the clothes aren't his. Yuuya thinks about his experience modeling and thinks Miyu is amazing at it, but Miyu says she has just gotten used to it, mentioning how she used to make lots of mistakes when she was still new. He thinks about how it's his first time wearing such fashionable clothes because he never had the chance in his past. He wonders why she started modeling, and she says she just wanted to be noticed because her parents were always too busy to spend time with her, and then, after she started getting some fans, she continued because she had people cheering her along and she liked that she could bring happiness to the people that saw her. She tells him he can also do it, saying he should take it at his own pace, and reminds him to just enjoy all the moments along the way. As they chat, the director takes a bunch of candid pictures of them, but at that moment, shows suddenly arise and the crowd is excited to see him. He approaches Miyu, saying they can get on with their shoot. He pushes her up against the wall, wanting to ask her out for drinks, but Yuuya can see she is uncomfortable. He interrupts them and Sho wonders who he is. Sho tries to punch him, but Yuuya throws him away. Everyone is shocked and Yuuya thinks about how slow the punch felt. He worries about causing a scene, thinking he will be in trouble for beating up such a good-looking guy, but the crowd cheers for him, thinking he is so cool. Sho wonders how he lost, even though he does boxing. The director tells him to leave, because they caught everything in 4K. Sho runs off and Miyu thanks him for his help, revealing that Sho has been following her around and she didn't know what to do about it. But the director says that Sho's behavior has always been bad, and with this, he is unlikely to work again. He wonders if Yuuya is interested in doing more modeling. Yuuya thanks him for giving him the opportunity to work with so many professionals, but he thinks he isn't good enough to do the job properly, so he ultimately turns them down. The director respects his decision and they end up giving him all the clothes from the shoot as thanks for his help, because they weren't able to pay him since he is just an amateur. Yuuya thinks having the experience was enough, but the director says it's only natural to be compensated for work. Especially since he was the one who saved them, so Yuuya accepts it. Miyu hopes to work with him again in the future and they wish him good luck. In their car afterwards, the director thinks it's a shame that Yuuya didn't want to continue, knowing he would have been a star. Looking back at the photos, Miyu thinks about how different Yuuya was, and the director can see her turning red, so he teases her about having a thing for him. Yuuya organizes his wardrobe, packing all of his new clothes, and we see that his photo has gotten around. The agencies wonder who he could be, and we see a woman who is desperate to sign him, ordering her associate to find him before any other agencies get to him. Seeing how he was able to stand up next to Miyu when he is just an amateur, she is determined not to let him get away. Meanwhile, in the other world, we see Lexia's knights fighting against some goblins. The knights are struggling and there is suddenly a goblin that appears behind her, but the goblin is defeated as Yuuya makes his appearance. They are shocked to see him and Yuuya effortlessly slays the goblins. Lexia is glad to see he is real and Yuuya finishes off the goblins. He treats one of the knights and Lexia approaches him, saying she came to the dark forest because she had something to tell him. Yuuya wonders what she wants and she suddenly asks if he will marry her, causing them all to be shocked. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see a part 2, then leave a comment. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Take care.